Hello, my name is Janine Jones, and I'm coming to you from the Heart's Way Imagery and Insights. Today we're going to do something a little bit different. Instead of doing a written blog, I've decided to do a video blog. The topic of today's blog is going to be nurturing friendships later in life. Friendships are so important, especially as we mature. I've noticed as that we've grown older, there seems to be a certain point in our lives when we are more and more aware of friends and family passing away. That makes nurturing friendships later in life even more essential. I have found that in my life, I have not had a large number of friends, but I've had a small group of friends from various places and from various times in my life that have been so important to me. To give you a few examples, I have a friend that I knew when I was in music therapy school at Wayne State University in Michigan many years ago. In fact, I graduated from that program in 1980. And although we don't talk to each other very frequently, I still very much value the friendship of this one particular person. I also have another friend that came from a very small group of friends that I had while I was living in North Carolina. Actually, this person was one of the friends of my best friend who passed away quite a few years ago. And I am so happy and grateful that I have this person's friendship now. Another friend that I have from North Carolina, when I was there for 23 years working in the Community Mental Health Center, was somebody who was my boss's boss. She also became a very good friend of mine, and she was one of the many valuable mentors that I've had in my life. I recently saw her and spent the afternoon with her, and I was so grateful for her friendship and the fact that we still have that connection and that bond with each other, that we can continue to relate to one another through texts and messages and through cards and letters, and perhaps even more visits in the future. Another friend that I have that I don't keep in touch with very frequently, but who I do value as well, is someone else that I met while I was living and working in North Carolina. This person befriended me at a time when I really needed a friend, when I was attending MSW school in Greenville, North Carolina at East Carolina University. I still enjoy looking at her Facebook posts and sometimes finding the opportunity to communicate with her as well. Another friend that I have is somebody that I very much value and respect. This is somebody that I met when I came back to Michigan after living in North Carolina for so many years. And we actually started working together as co-workers and colleagues shortly after I started working at this new agency that I worked at for approximately 17 years. This person now is in her own private practice, and even though I'm retired, we continue to connect with each other via phone and frequently, if possible, via visits with each other. And I really like spending time with her because she helps to keep me connected to the social work and counseling world. She's a psychologist, And so we share a lot of the same kinds of ethics and values that most professional mental health employees have. I also have a good friend that I met in just a chance meeting. I actually have only met with her one time, probably since I met her, and that's probably been, I don't know, perhaps even 12 years ago, when I took some training out in California for guided imagery, and she was in my guided imagery cohort, and I met her, and we just immediately kind of clicked with each other. The way that we thought about things, the way that our personalities were, and she is one of the most intelligent and informative people I know, and I really look forward to spending times with her when we chat with each other, me living in Michigan and she's living in New York. So that was just a chance encounter that turned out to be a wonderful friendship. I also have a very dear friend who I met when I moved back to Michigan, when my husband and I started attending a new church. She and I just happened to be placed together on a praise team singing, and both of us were, I think, rather shy and kind of just connected with each other. And since then, we have just been totally such good friends, and she's such an important part of my life. You know, when I think about friends, I sometimes think of friends as being part of the jigsaw puzzle of our lives. If you would think about our lives as being that of a jigsaw puzzle, with all the different pieces being all the different parts of our lives, I know that it is easy to kind of see how our friends can be just parts of the jigsaw puzzles. They don't form just one major part of our lives. And in this, as an example, this is a jigsaw puzzle of all different kinds of varieties of potato chips, which is really kind of cool. It's a 1,000-piece puzzle that celebrates potato chips throughout, I don't know if it's the country or if it is just around the world or through time. But anyway, I thought it would be kind of fun to show this as an example. For me, if we looked at this jigsaw puzzle as my life and all of the parts of my life, friends would play a part and many multiple different parts in this jigsaw puzzle. This would be perhaps, you know, somebody that I knew from this time of my life, or maybe somebody that I knew from this place in my life, or from some place when I was doing something in particular in my life. And so if you can see that these jigsaw puzzle pieces, or our friendships, play a very important part in our lives in total. I wanted to highlight a particular kind of friendship, if I could, for just a moment. And that is, especially as we get older, friendships that are very old friendships. Friendships perhaps from childhood. And I'd like to talk about a few quotes that came from the source called IdeaPod. And I'm going to link that resource on the written part of this blog post so that you can take a look at it. But I'm going to quote here just for a moment, if I may. "Old friends are irreplaceable. They have lasting impacts throughout our lives. Old friends play into our nostalgia. Old friends key into our remember back when memories. When you reminisce with your old friends, you both resurface powerful memories, which causes a strong feeling of connection and happiness. I'd like to share an example of my own in regards to this. This particular friend and I met in elementary school. That was many, many, many years ago. And we were good friends. Unfortunately, she and her family moved away when we were in the 5th grade together. Last year, in 2021, we reconnected through Facebook, which we figured was approximately 55 years later. We had not seen or heard from each other in all that time. But for me, when I met with her, it was like we had never been apart. And catching up with each other's lives has been an absolute joy. An added benefit of this renewed friendship is that our husbands have become friends too. So now we have the unique opportunity of nurturing both an old friendship and building a new friendship. And that is just so valuable in my life and hopefully in yours as well. Here's another interesting statistic, this time from UMH. And again, I'll post or link this resource on the written portion of this blog post. I'm going to quote again. Dynamic friendships help battle senior loneliness and depression. Seniors who find themselves isolated from the people and sense of purpose that once fueled them are prone to declines in mental and emotional health. Often, they're lacking adequate opportunities for human connection as they struggle to stay social, active, and fulfilled. This can lead to a general sense of loneliness and even spiral into more serious levels of depression. As an example of this and the ability of nurturing friendships later in life to help battle feelings of depression, I'd like to give an example of another friend of mine and someone in her life. This friend was friends with her husband's cousin for many, many years. In fact, their families spent much time together, raising their children together. And my friend and her husband's cousin, who she calls now her cousin, were very, very close. At about the time that my friend's husband passed away, my friend's friend was having difficulty nurturing that relationship with my friend because her then husband disliked their friendship. And later, he forbade his wife from being friends with my particular friend any longer. A few months ago, she told me that she happened upon her cousin at a community event. Now, this was 16 years after this friendship had been torn apart, only to learn that her cousin had divorced this abusive husband and was living now very close to my friend. They are now spending a lot of time together and enjoying each other's company. And my friend has noted to me that renewing this friendship, this very old friendship, has really helped her with her own feelings of depression. Again, another example of how friendship can help to battle feelings of depression. For more information on this topic, I invite you to check out The Importance of Social Relationships for Seniors, which is a video post from our sister blog, The Heart's Way for Creative Clinicians. In particular, This video will discuss additional health and mental health risks associated with loneliness and social isolation. I'll link to this video resource on the written portion of this blog. As I close, I encourage you to embrace a more meaningful life and complete your own personal jigsaw puzzle through the rich addition of friendships. It's never too late to nurture old friendships and to build new ones. Thank you.